Yep, there it is. It worked. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's show on What's Up Emerald Coast. I am RJ Murdoch. This is Chris
Seaman.
Seaman.
How are you?
I always have a
What's up, Emerald Coast?
I just want to make sure I say it right. It is Seaman.
Yeah.
I was going to say Chris Aquaman. But
no, you missed that chance with the mermaid.
After our mermaid show last
What's
Wednesday,
up, Emerald Coast? It's Thursday. It's the 25th of June. We are deep into summer now. Mm-hmm. The area is packed. RJ, it's crazy around here right now.
Yeah.
There's not a lot in the paper today. There's not a lot to discuss in the paper because it just seems like...
if you read the paper, it's basically national news.
It's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that the national news isn't important locally because it is. Yeah. But it seems to me when you get to a Thursday in the middle of summer, our focus locally, even with the paper, is it's summer. It's our downtime.
Yes, it's
so, and it's bad enough that in this in this now pandemic environment.
I wouldn't call it post-pandemic.
It's thank you. It's current pandemic. So in that current
pandemic phase 2.
If that, okay, we still haven't agreed on that, but nonetheless, I think that it certainly took its toll on anything but the virus, and it's hard to get back to a thicker paper. Let's just put it that way.
And
more stuff. There's less stuff locally because it does dominate. I will say on a personal note, the mobile testing the county's doing. Mm-hmm. Some people very close to me sat in line. There was quite a line for that to go get their mobile testing. They have not gotten their results back yet. So my prayers are with some family members of mine.
I'm still waiting where I'm eligible enough to give blood again because I can get my antibody test as well on that one. But we were talking
nobody
about
wants my blood,
local and how it affects everything. And one of the things that most people don't know is like how the whole area works as far as governing,
yes.
how the business. And actually our guest today is
she trains the people in charge.
It's an opportunity if you want to learn how the leadership of Okaloosa works.
Right.
There's a program called Leadership Okaloosa.
Right.
And we're going to go ahead and bring in our caller right now. This is Shelby DeSoto.
Hi, Shelby.
Hey, Shelby. So you're at Northwest Florida State College right now. I know that the campus is closed, but as you mentioned, there's a skeleton crew out there. But you had also I had seen an email just a while ago where you were advertising that you're going to be doing Leadership Okaloosa again. And
yes,
I don't know if you know this, Chris, but I was actually part of that back in 2018-19, and it was a really wonderful experience. So I got a chance to meet Shelby there and work with her on that.
Well, I did not know that, RJ, but and nor have I met Shelby until just now, and what a pleasure it is. But I did speak at Leadership Okaloosa quite some time ago, back when I was a younger man. And we talked, the topic was about entrepreneurialism in the county. So I know Leadership Okaloosa touches on a lot of different things in the community. And so I was introduced to it and its purpose, and it's quite a neat is the wrong word. It's quite an impressive array of topics that it addresses.
Why don't we have Shelby come?
And I was just going to say, and its purpose, which I think she'll speak to, of bringing the people that are good at their game better at their game, is what I got out of it. I don't know if it made me any better because I was just a speaker, but it was. But I got the concept of it. So Shelby, how long have you been with the workforce training program at the school?
We are coming up on my 2-year anniversary in July. Okay. But yes, Leadership Okaloosa is a phenomenal program. I did have the pleasure of having RJ in my class.
And you survived.
We go for 9 months, and we end in May with a graduation.
Excellent.
So for those who don't know, and I know we kind of like hinted around Leadership Okaloosa, but tell us about who basically participates and what they're going to get out of it and how long the program is. Give us the synopsis of Leadership Okaloosa.
Sure. So Leadership Okaloosa is for any adult professional that is wanting to be a leader in their community as well as their workplace. And they may not lack or not have the right skills and they might want to hone those skills more. And so we cover networking, team building, professional settings, entrepreneurship, how government works. And like I said earlier, it spans over a course of 9 months. We start in September with an orientation, and then we wrap up in May with graduation.
So let me ask you a tough one, because it's part of what's inspired the show. You said a little prior to the show that you're operating with kind of a skeleton crew at the school. What has changed with Leadership Okaloosa going forward, addressing the current environment we in? Has the program had to adjust at all? Maybe being more digital? And then also, are you changing what you're teaching to leaders, both private leaders for private business and for government positions? Are you changing somewhat of your message going forward, giving, and not just the virus, but obviously the racial injustice has become a big topic, and all that? Are you starting to see some changes in the curriculum?
So since I oversee the program, and I'm so glad that you asked that question, because we have had to change the structure. Usually everything is done more in person, but I have taken it upon myself to be more innovative. And so we're going to create a hybrid model, which has some online components as well as a little bit in-person components. And as RJ knows, we do city tours. Right. So we work with the Chamber of Commerce in Crestview, Niceville, Destin, and Fort Walton Beach. So we're going to move those probably towards spring, the way we have more time and it's a little bit safer. And we're also going to be highlighting more diversity and inclusion. I am a part of the Diversity and Inclusion Task Force here at Northwest Florida State College. And our goal is really to incorporate our beliefs and those types of necessities, especially when it comes to the workforce. And if people, for example, are in HR, they need to know more about how to be more inclusive.
Certainly. Is there a difference when you're in the class when it comes to private employment versus public service, or do you just stick to the principles of the education? Is it just like one tablet kind of fits wherever you're going, or is there a difference at all?
I think because of the tours and the various guest speakers that we bring on board, it is kind of a broad, very mixed bag, but in a good way, because you get to see how different industry sectors work and how they operate, as well as when we go to Tallahassee in the spring, you get to learn how crazy government really is, and all the things that happen behind the scenes.
Certainly. I'll ask you one more, and I'm opening a little store down the street from the school, at least one of your branches there. For a private business owner, is it something that you would encourage if you want your staff to grow within your ranks? Is that the kind of thing you want to say, hey, you need to go take this class? We talked about Microsoft Office, so clearly I need to go start this class now myself because Microsoft kicks my butt every day. Is it something that an operator, an owner, can encourage his office team, for example, or her office team, for example? See, I'm trying to be a little more inclusive myself.
And it kind of goes into the question about who's eligible for it. And
yes.
How do they,
and if the answer is yes, how do I say, okay, I want to get signed up, I want to go do this? I don't have to be in school per se. I can just take the class?
Correct. So because it's a non-academic program, anybody who is an adult professional in this area, they either can contact and apply, or if they want to go the other route of, let's say they have an employer and their employer might, pitch the idea to them and say, hey, I think you would be really good for this program. You should probably check it out. We have that avenue. We also have the avenue where the individual themselves, they might be a business owner and they might see it as important and vital to maybe more networking opportunities and getting more people to their business. So it really is pretty broad. And the other separate thing is just, I also do the non-credit and non-academic classes. So Microsoft Office isn't really incorporated in Leadership Okaloosa, but that's a great idea. I might work on that and maybe do that next year.
Well, you're safe, because as much as I need that, you ruled me out when you said adult professionals. So I guess I should be sending my staff, maybe RJ and everybody around me, but that pretty much eliminates me though. So thanks, Shelby, for just ruling me out right from the get-go.
I'm so
So the class usually starts in the fall. What's the time frame for registering for it, and for when the actual schedule is going to be like, and how long it's going to be? Give us a little depth about describing how the program runs.
Right. So we have a deadline for August 24th for getting applications in. Those applications can be found on our website, nwfsc.edu, as well as if you follow Leadership Okaloosa on Facebook, go ahead and like it and you'll get more updates. You'll get the link to the application. My information is right there for you to contact me should you have any questions about the program. And it's pretty much straightforward.
Right on.
Right, and if I remember, we started, was it in September or October, and we went all the way up into May.
Yes.
And May was the graduation, for the most part, where we all got together. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend that one because I was in France with another college group entertaining over there. But I can tell you from personal experience that the opportunity to meet with the chamber members, to meet with the city officials, to meet with the airport and seeing how that's run, it gives you kind of a broader sense on how, especially at the airport, it was interesting to talk one of the county waterworks guy, to see how our whole water and sewage works, and we had no idea. And at first he seemed like he was kind of a monotone, quiet guy, but he had so much great content. You would never expect that from him.
So what you're referencing is that within any organization, the professionals doing their job, as mundane as it might be, how critical and how integrated it is and tied to everybody else's job. Wow. Is that fair, Shelby?
And how much we take for granted.
That's very correct.
So Shelby, out of that, RJ references, his personal experience in it. Mine was, more of I was invited as a guest to, I guess, for you guys to pick on me as the guy that was crazy enough to open his own businesses. What would you find when you're taking an RJ through the program, for example, or working through a class? What is your favorite element on the government side of things? Because government's a big thing. We're going to an election downrange here. There's a lot of public conversation going on. What is your favorite aspect of or goal that when you put the curriculum together? What's something? And I'm not saying you got to give away your secret to your program, but what is it something that you really, in your heart as a member of this community, value within the program? What's your top one, for example?
So it's not the main goal of this program, but it's to create activism as well as awareness of how your government works, how local government works. Like you mentioned earlier, what seats are up for re-election, or if they're even interested in being a public servant. They might not be interested in that, but at least they might want to see some change happening to their area. So they might volunteer more. They might lead a coalition of some sort. The possibilities are really endless whenever you have this program and you have this motivation and inspiration to do that. So I put a lot of emphasis on being more aware of your surroundings, being more aware of just really how every city operates. And like you guys said earlier with being at the airport, we got to hear from almost every single county department. And though they're not probably used to speaking in public or speaking in front of large groups of people, their stuff. Yeah. And so it's very important and very integral into how the county operates day to day. Because if one of those were to fall apart, we would all be, really hurt by that economically. So I think knowing the importance of everything really helps us out.
So that's so one last question then in regards to the activism side. Does any of your training help candidates prior to, or there's stuff that help a candidate prior to becoming the actual, what's one thing if you wanted to help, let's say Nathan Boyles, and I like picking on Nathan, I'm a fan. If you wanted to help him become a better county commissioner at what he does and get to know all the things, and that's great. But but there's going to be a whole other class of people. Does the program touch on that to help candidates? I raise my hand and I want to do this. How do I go about doing it?
I would say it's the same way as if me off the street would want to apply for the program. They would just have to apply and go through the process of being in the program. So again, any adult professional can apply and join and be a part of this wonderful leadership program that we have here.
What she's saying is I still have a chance.
You still have a chance. And I just want to share that one of the things that I enjoyed, that through the group we were together, we were all broken into smaller groups, and we were all given a city to focus on, to go ahead and attend one of their council meetings and get an idea and do a presentation in front of the class on how the city works and runs and stuff like that.
Right.
And it was kind of eye-opening as well, and an opportunity, actually for me with the town of Shalimar, to dig into some little history. And instead of just doing a talk PowerPoint presentation, we created a little video that we actually gave to Shalimar to promote themselves and about their history, which was kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
I enjoyed doing that. So again, August 24th, did you say, or 22nd was the deadline?
August 24th is the deadline.
Okay, and we've got your email up on the screen, so if anybody is interested on it, feel free to contact her directly. And we do very much thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much, Shelby. That's some great knowledge about, you guide the people that run our county. So if you're not getting a raise today, I'm going to become an advocate for it, because the better you do your job, the better everybody else does their job. So thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks. We'll see you
So
next
RJ,
time.
were you when you were, the young nerd that you are, were you a Sims guy? Like you played on computer where you built cities and all that? Were you that kind of guy, or did you play Sims?
What computers? What's a computer?
So what the nerd guy that played Sims needs Shelby to teach you how to take it from the animated version where your city goes bankrupt, and teaches you how to actually manage it in real life. That's what that's about.
Well, I mean, that is one thing.
My city went bankrupt quick.
That is true.
I couldn't run an amusement park either.
That the young generation these days have that opportunity to be able to learn from simulations.
Sure.
Which in my day, I mean, we were pushing video on a reel-to-reel.
Yeah,
Technology wasn't existing.
Well, when you take a lot of the management training type of courses that are out there, when you take a lot of motivational courses that are put out there, and you basically, Shelby's taken a lot of that, putting it all together. So it's a go-to spot that if you're in a position of public service, or if you're in a position of leadership, it is a great course, Leadership Okaloosa. I mean, I was blessed to have had the opportunity to go and see it. It was totally by a fluke accident that I was invited, and it was fantastic because exactly what you described. You got to see aspects of the county or your community. Not necessarily, in this case, it's Leadership Okaloosa, so we'll pick on this county. But you get to see aspects you don't always get to see. And what it does is, if you're in a position of leadership, you running this studio, see how Gulf Power runs their world, then how it affects you. So if you lose power, you might understand a little bit more about what's going on. You don't just get mad that I didn't pay my bill. But maybe something's happening, and there's somebody responsible. There's an engineer responsible for that, and that engineer might have been in that class with you.
We got a chance to go to the jail.
There you go.
I mean, how often do you get a chance to do that unless you decide to do something wrong?
It's all the things that you don't necessarily see outside of your tunnel vision as a citizen, to all the things that make your community work. And that's what Leadership Okaloosa, I think, is kind of like a tip of the spear to help those people. And that's why I think it's a fantastic program.
It really is.
It's helped. I mean, you want to hope that they all do really well. It's almost like you want them to be. I'm sure Shelby would go, yeah, they should be required to take it, because then that way it ensures the success of the program. But it helps our community become stronger, and I give it a lot of credit for doing exactly that. So
yeah, I mean, and there was a fee for it as well, but there are a few scholarship positions, and you may be eligible for it. Check with your employer, check with your chamber.
Sure.
And if you're involved with the chambers, they usually have a seat or two available as well.
We got some shameless plugs. I'll give one
Let's
out
go ahead
real
and
quick.
do some shameless plugs. Real quick.
Hey, for everybody, tomorrow night, before we get to Crab Island, although it'll be on crabisland.com on Facebook to talk about Shane's movie tomorrow night, Shane Reynolds. You got that up there, RJ? Because I want to make sure people know about Shane's put in a lot of work. I'm a big fan of this man right here. That's a great photo, by the way, of Mr. Reynolds. And he's one of the most talented people we have in our county. And he's had quite a resume in the audio video world, and for him to put on this documentary movie-ish thing about our community, and they're going to host it at the fairgrounds.
Right.
And it's
'Cause it was originally scheduled to be over at such a
that's
cinema,
correct.
but
But
that's going to be much better.
adapting to the pandemic environment.
And it's a
they're gonna-
drive-in theater.
I'm
cool is that?
a fan of the people working in the snack bar too. Just so you know, I think I have a couple family members that are going to be making some food and beverage in there, so I'm rooting for them. Shane, we wish you the best. I think you have all the info to where to go online and get tickets. Should I give out Shane's cell phone number?
I know
I'm sure he'll
they
be
do have
proud.
it on the newspaper there.
Okay,
but,
if it's in the paper.
if you go ahead, if you go to Color Earth Productions,
Yeah,
The Color Earth,
The Color Earth.
Color Earth, or just look up Shane Reynolds on Facebook.
I'm sure you can find the
event is
information.
available out there.
But if you're old school Fort Walton Beach, he's very, very talented. That's all you can say. You'll see for yourself. It's a great use of your Friday night. If you don't want the chaos of driving down 98 for sure, you can go up Lewis Turner Boulevard there, and you won't have to.
You're already in prime.
So there's a
position.
shameless
come
plug.
on in from Niceville, come down from Crestview.
Go see the show. So what other shameless plugs do you have there, RJ?
Let's see. Well, we've got our national days today as well. Should we bring those up?
While you're bringing those up there, I'm going to point out that yesterday we talked with our buddy Jake in sports, and everything I predicted. Golf, people are backing out. Baseball, still a challenge. So I'm just putting that in so I can heckle my boy Jake.
And Jake's in the back.
Oh, is he here?
Yeah.
Oh,
if he presses.
so right now he's gonna. So is he learning the console counter? Oh my, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, he's kind of.
All right. So what do we got for our plugs, or what are our calendar days today? Because
we have like a couple of them. Most of them are all food related, but this is actually a very refreshing one.
I don't know about that.
The Bomb Pop.
That's not right.
Actually, I think it came out around 1955.
Yeah, I think that's
around
the
the time of
coalition
the Cold War.
The coalition
So
of ice cream trucks in that song.
Bombs and USA were high. It was a highly patriotic way to get a cool, refreshing.
And I think the coalition of ice cream trucks in your neighborhood have come together to make that a national day. So let's move on. That one looks
National
good.
Catfish Day.
I don't know about that though.
Yeah, well, you're here in the South.
Okay, I don't want to knock it. It's a big deal. It's I'm a big fan
of catfish.
Of food. So I don't want to knock National Catfish Day. Now, noodling is something. Have you ever gone noodling?
I have not gone noodling.
You know what that is?
Anyway, what is noodling?
We're gonna do a show on that. Let's just go on. People, make some comments in there and let RJ know what noodling is.
Okay, this is interesting because it's National Handshake Day,
which is basically noodling with a catfish.
But okay.
I said it out loud.
Okay. But what's interesting about this picture from the nationaldaycalendar.com is that they've actually got these guys wearing gloves.
Handshake Day.
They're wearing gloves, so that way.
So is that a current Handshake Day photo? You think?
I think that's based on current
conditions. You got workman's gloves out there with your Handshake Day. Please sanitize your gloves, because just because you wear gloves does not mean they cannot transmit the virus. But continue.
All right, National Leon Day. Do you have any idea what National Leon Day?
Just tell me.
You can't take a guess at all?
National Leon Day. I would guess it's an acronym.
It's close.
It's an acronym.
What day is today? What date?
Thursday.
No, what's the date?
25th of June.
25th of June. 6 months from now, what time? What is it?
6 months from now. Oh, it's Christmas. We're halfway to Christmas?
So, if you look at that Leon and spelled it backwards, it's
Noel. That is like holiday nerd stuff right there.
Holiday nerd stuff. I don't make the stuff.
Holiday nerd stuff.
I don't make the stuff.
So what do we do to celebrate on a Leon Day? They had colored pencils. What are we supposed to do?
It's 6 months before Christmas. So
do I get to go drink eggnog?
If you haven't started your shopping list yet,
you're going to pressure me into Christmas shopping already. Come on, bro.
Okay,
there we go.
There we go. A nice treat. Parfait could be, a little bit of
strawberries
custard,
were just harvested.
Could be some yogurt.
There we go.
Strawberries are a nice, healthy fruit.
There we go. Now, mixed in with all the cream. There we go.
Right. Well, and so that's pretty much it for National Days.
Okay, fair enough.
Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, that's it.
We're kind of out of time. I think we had a great conversation.
That was good with Shelby. That was stuff. I'm a big fan of National.
She's still kind of watching us.
Leadership. I see her peeking and watching us through the. Yeah, well, she's running the campus remotely, so she's like got one eye on us and one eye on the campus, and that's what Zoom allows us to do.
Well, we're gonna have Leadership Okaloosa TV. We're gonna start creating.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
We'll bring her in the studio.
We can do a Leadership Okaloosa via Zoom.
We'll zoom on our topic.
There we go.
Our guests and stuff like that.
Maybe we can attend via Zoom, and maybe you can be a better nerd, and I can be a better guest host.
Oh wow, I've got the nerd thing down.
Yeah. All right, thanks everybody for being here today. It's Thursday.
Stay
cool.
And hopefully the weather will be good.
And stay rational, my friends.
Take care. Bye. Bye.